Hello. In this tutorial, we will talk about the fundamentals of how a sewing machine works, as well as a few key parts that are essential to its operations. So how does it all work? In this tutorial, I will use a series of drawings to explain parts that are small and hard to see. In this cross section, there are two pieces of fabric, top and bottom, and there are also two separate threads, which are denoted here. The top thread is in red and the bottom thread is in blue. The most essential part to realize is this junction here, where the two threads become intertwined with one another, creating a stitch. In this diagram, you can see the correct type of tension that one achieves when all of the settings are correct in the machine. So pretty much at this midline, the top and the bottom intertwine with one another and are knotted. If some of your settings are incorrect or something isn't working right, you can see that this bottom, one option is that this bottom is kind of loose and the intersection isn't really happening at all, or it's not happening at that midsection. In this top view, you can see the needle, the top thread, and the presser foot. The foot here is essential in the balancing act of sewing, so making sure that it's in that down position before attempting to sew is important, as well as this foot helps hold the fabric in place while sewing. In this cross section, you can see that the under portion of the machine is visible here, which is the bobbin, which lives inside the bobbin housing, and the shuttle hook, which surrounds the bobbin housing. So the threaded needle, which is above, pierces through the fabric at the same time, which you'll see in the next diagram, that this shuttle hook moves, swooping down, allowing it to grab that upper thread. As the shuttle hook continues to move around, it separates the loop, or separates that top thread, and then the top thread starts to pull up and tighten around the blue under thread. And this action allows a stitch to occur, because once that loop is made, it is knotted, and what we talked about previously before, preferably at about that midpoint and in, balance of tension with one another. And this is what allows us to connect those two pieces of fabric together. And on closing, I'd just like to say that in Sanskrit, the word sutra means string or thread, or the thing that ties two things together. And in ancient Hindu and Buddhist traditions, each sutra was a short rule to help explain teachings and rituals. So this is your first sewing sutra in a series of many.